Crime on campus. A look how the rec center could be a real ripoff. Police are on the lookout for scam artists, and printing prices won't be going up after all. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
If you misplace your belongings at the rec center, chances are they're in someone else's hands. Good evening, I'm Carolyn Butvilas. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Christina Lind. NTC reporter Dan Kenny has sorted through 4 years worth of campus crime and tells you why you should put those lockers in the rec to good use.
It's a regular day at the campus recreation center as students lace up for a quick game of basketball. But don't be fooled. A pickup game isn't the only time you can get your pocket picked at the rec center. We found when it comes to theft of personal belongings like credit cards, cash, phones, the campus rec tops the list. We looked at 4 years worth of crime data, nearly 6,000 reported campus incidents. The campus rec had practically 100 theft-related incidents, which is the highest on campus. It averages out to once every 10 days someone is getting ripped off here during the academic school year.
I almost definitely feel like it's a huge concern for the recreational facilities. We don't want people to feel uncomfortable with our facilities, so we do everything possible to ensure that things like this don't occur.
The employees aren't the only ones aware of the theft issue. The students are catching on too.
I'd definitely say I'm suspicious now, knowing that my phone was just laying on the ground right near me and it was stolen.
With all the traffic the rec sees, it becomes an attractive target for thieves. Police try to stay ahead of crime trends like this by analyzing the same data that we looked at and preventing further crime from happening.
So proactive policing is a measure that uses several approaches to reduce crime. That could be increased patrols, increased crime prevention presentations, or just increased contact with the community.
You don't have to look any further than your nearest parking lot to see the effects of proactive policing.
At the beginning of every school year, there's a spike in crime such as burglaries in parking lots like this one. But this year was different. Police made a proactive effort to patrol these areas, which led to a decline in crime.
While proactive policing is making some things better, one community advisor thinks they could be doing a whole lot more here at Neptune Hall. As we learned from our last report, in terms of violent and assaultive incidents, Neptune is the most troubled dorm on campus.
They have no proactive approach. It's all reactive. You know, they're not worried about they're worried about resident safety to an extent, you know.
Dylan Heinrich has been a CA here in Neptune for several years.
That's terrible because as time goes on, there's more ways to do bad things. So you should probably have more ways to prevent bad things, you know. So I would just say, just like with the police, housing needs to work on their proactive measures as well.
So it's pretty clear from looking at all these reports that Neptune is the worst dorm on campus when it comes to assaults and related offenses. But the big question everyone is asking is why? Why Neptune? Well, Neptune is the oldest and the cheapest dorm on campus, and it's also the only dorm that has yet to be renovated. Students we spoke with had various opinions about it. Neptune seems to have an overpopulation issue, or it draws a lot of rough kids from rough neighborhoods and backgrounds. Whatever is behind it, Neptune has had more assault incidents than any other residence hall on campus. Quite frankly, it's not even close.
Wow. Lots of information and lots to think about. Dan Kenny, thanks for your report this week.
While there are still a lot of crimes that happen in the dorms, overall, DeKalb's violent crime have hit a 10-year low for 2014. The DeKalb Police Annual Report shows public safety conditions are improving in many areas throughout the city. Crimes have dropped in nearly every category. However, calls to police have increased along with controlled substance violations.
A police officer in Elburn has been charged with sexually assaulting a child for more than 10 years. The officer has been charged for 10 counts of predatory criminal sexual assault and 11 counts of criminal sexual assault. The Kane County State's Attorney's Office says the victim was 13 when the assaults began.
A DeKalb pastor has been arrested on charges of child pornography. DeKalb and Sycamore police officers executed a search warrant here at the home of 34-year-old Corey Butler on Kent Place. During the police search, they took several computers containing child pornography, ammunition, and a handgun from his home. This is Butler in a YouTube video giving a sermon at his church, Jesus is the Way Christian Center in Sycamore. Police say Butler was also a volunteer mentor for students at local middle schools and DeKalb High School. He has been charged with possession and distribution of child porn. He is being held in DeKalb County Jail on $100,000 bail.
Police are warning residents of a phone scam in which a criminal is posing as DeKalb police. The caller tells the person that there is a warrant out for them and they need to pay their bond immediately to avoid being arrested. Citizens should be suspicious of any phone calls where someone asks for personal information.
There is another group of scammers running around that residents should be aware of. This group poses as inspectors from Premier Services to gain access to their homes. They use aggressive and intimidating tactics to pressure their target in arranging a mandatory inspection and demand money up front for repairs.
The scammers typically go for easy targets, elderly people, people that live alone. So this type of scam with the building fraud puts those people especially at risk because they're more likely to cave into the pressure of a hard sales tactic or the bullying tactics that these guys use.
The $7 printing quota will be making a comeback next year. Students will be granted $7 a semester for printing for one more academic year. The funds will come from money that was intended for the computer lab maintenance. The decision to extend printing was made several weeks ago in response to a resolution by the Student Association.
Bullies, beware. There is a new city order in effect. Sycamore's police regulations now include bullying as an offense. Bullies can now face a fine or community service. Bullying is not a criminal offense, and this new ordinance will maintain that while still resulting in a penalty.
DeKalb County Animal Welfare League in Genoa is taking care of animals that were affected by the tornado in Fairdale. President Roberta Schoaf says there has been roughly 50 cats and dogs brought to them after the tornado. This isn't because their owners abandoned them. They just don't have a reliable house to shelter their pets anymore.
Very rewarding to be able to say, yes, your pet is here, or yes, we have your pet, we believe we have your pet. There are some people that have.
Most of the time, dog owners have the resources to take care of their pets. But after reaching a certain age, taking care of a dog can be too much.
NTC reporter Nicole Schenberger tells us what one woman is doing to ensure that senior citizens' dogs are being taken care of.
Roberta works for the DeKalb County Animal Welfare League. Not only is she the director of the entire center, she also has big plans for it. Roberta plans on trying to extend the building so that she can build a sanctuary for senior pets.
This has been a dream of mine for several years. Like I said, I get calls all the time from people that are not able to keep pets.
The expansion would help out seniors who are not able to take care of the dogs themselves, so that they don't just get put into a shelter. Many people, including Roberta, have noticed that senior dogs don't get adopted as much as the puppies do. And this sanctuary would help put a stop to this by allowing the seniors a place to home their dogs.
This could be the future home for your grandparents' pets.
Not only will the expansion on the shelter help home the dogs, but it will also give some much-needed comfort to the pets' owners.
My vision would be that volunteers or family members could pick up the animal and take it to visit Grandma or bring Grandma out to visit the animal so that they wouldn't have to give up absolutely everything, including their pet.
Roberta plans on trying to fundraise for the project once it gets off the ground. But for now, her project remains a dream until she gets the final approval on April 15th. In Genoa, I'm Nicole Schenberger, NTC News.
If the petition is passed, Roberta hopes to start fundraising right away to give hope to her lifelong dream.
We have our student chief meteorologist, Brittany Merleau, here with us now. Now, Brittany, we heard that you got to experience something pretty unique this past weekend. Tell us all about it.
Yes, actually, the College of DuPage hosted a pretty cool event for the public who got to see a weather balloon up close and personal. Check this out. Those in attendance not only got to see the balloon inflated, but they also got a chance to see the instruments that are attached to the balloon that measure atmospheric pressure, temperature, humidity, and wind speeds. Hundreds of these balloons are launched all over the world on a daily basis. 3, 2, 1. actually tracked it all the way to Chicago, where it finally popped and fell to the ground. It's pretty cool. But speaking of Chicago, they are going to see a dip in temperatures this weekend, or I'm sorry, to tomorrow. They're going to see dip in temperatures along the lake just to barely reaching 50 degrees, while many of the inland cities are going to get to see another nice day reaching into the 60s. That sun will be shining bright for us here in DeKalb tomorrow, but the sun isn't going to be sticking around for much longer. For more on when our spring showers are going to arrive, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back. Today we woke up to beautiful skies, the smell of fresh cut grass in the air. It was beautiful out there this morning as we saw a high of 65 today, but unfortunately those clouds started rolling in this afternoon over DeKalb, and those are going to continue throughout tonight as we do have a chance of some scattered showers and possibly some rain throughout tonight all over northern Illinois area. And this is what's going on here. We have this low pressure that decided to go all the way up to Canada, which is affecting our jet stream, and it's going up to the north and coming back down, and it's bringing that colder temperatures towards us and a possibility for rain tonight. Now that same pattern is going to continue into tomorrow, and look at this. As you can see, the warm, moist Gulf air just making its way all the way into Canada. But unfortunately for us, we're going to be seeing some winds off the lake and a little bit cooler temperatures on Thursday, but by Friday, that's going to start to cut off, and those winds are going to start to shift towards our area. And look at this. On Saturday, we have this nice warm Gulf air making its way towards us. We're going to see temperatures up into the mid-70s on Saturday. But along with the moist, warm air, we have a possibility for rain, and that's not only going to be just Saturday. That's going to continue on all throughout next week. That chances of rain, 87% chance here. These are all just percentages, as you can see, all throughout the rest of next week. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And don't forget the possibility of the rain again tonight, so with a scattered or stray shower and thunderstorm. Now, we're going to see temperatures down to low of 38 degrees, which is going to be nice because we're out of that frost that we were originally used to all throughout this week. And Thursday, the sun's going to come out, some scattered clouds with a high of 60 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day. Get out there and enjoy it. We might see gusts up to 20 miles per hour, but it's going to be great, and that's going to continue on into Thursday night. No clouds, beautiful sky. Get out there and check out the Northern Illinois Observatory. Check out some stars, but if you do, it'll be a little bit chilly again. It'll be a low of 37, so bundle up if you're going to go out on Thursday night. So here's my 5-day forecast. Again, the clouds and the possibility of lower temperatures on Thursday as those winds are coming off of the lake and that cold front push through. But as we go into Friday and Saturday, that sun's going to come out. Those temperatures are going to jump significantly, and so are our lows. We're going to be back into the lows, reaching 50s. But as we move into the rest of the weekend, that chance of showers and thunderstorms continues on. And like I said earlier, it's going to continue on throughout the rest of the week. So stay inside, study for those finals. You're not going to be missing anything outside. And we're going to hope that the sun comes back out for graduation. Now, speaking of graduation, this is my final broadcast here at Northern Television Center. It's been a long road, and I knew today was going to come, and it saddens me that it is here. It's a transition, a step forward, and a handing down of the baton. A wonderful, great meteorologist, Nicole Gill, preceded me, and wonderful Emery Danens is going to be here to follow. But without them, with those three of us, we couldn't have done it. without our wonderful professors here at Northern Illinois University, Northern Television Center, and all. So I just wanted to say, most of all though, thank you, DeKalb. Have a good night.
Thank you, Brittany, and we wish you the best. Residents of the University Village are hopeful that renovations are coming their way.
Reporter TJ Hopkins has more on how a potential upgrade can uplift a community.
University Village has 534 units. If approved, all of those units will be upgraded. University Village has been around for 45 years and is the largest apartment complex in DeKalb. Security Properties, a real estate company in Seattle, plans to buy the complex. The deal hangs on the City of DeKalb rezoning the property. DeKalb's Planning and Zoning Commission voted to delay the company's rezoning request on Wednesday. With the hopes of improved housing conditions, residents and employees want the sale of the complex and the zoning request to go through, and are hopeful that it does.
That's why we're just all hoping for the best, that we won't have to cross that bridge. We're hoping that everything is going to go through and we'll be on a positive note.
Security Properties also plans an $18 million renovation plan when they buy the complex. The renovations include new kitchens, new bathrooms, and other appliances. These renovations will be done to all 534 units. The project also includes 2 new playgrounds, a new pool, and a community center for the kids.
It's going to be beautiful. When it's done, the property will be almost brand new. It'll be absolutely beautiful.
The University Village Tenants Association is in full support of the proposed plan, even though the vote for the rezoning has been delayed. If approved, the renovations could take up to 18 to 20 months to be completed. With NTC News, I'm TJ Hopkins.
Coming up, what if the tornado that devastated Fairdale had taken a different path? Some startling answers when we come back.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
The April 9th tornado that tore through parts of northern Illinois devastated the small town of Fairdale and left 2 people dead.
But this destruction could have been much worse. There will be a symposium held tomorrow night on campus that will provide perspective about the April 9th tornado. The presenters will examine our region's severe weather hazards and also several different scenarios that could have escalated things further.
NIU meteorology professor Walker Ashley will be speaking at tomorrow's event, and we are lucky to have him here now with us at the desk. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
So Walker, can you give us a little sneak peek about what you're going to talk about tomorrow? So what could have happened if the tornado did decide to take a different path that would have brought it closer to us?
Well, my PhD student, Stephen Strader, is actually taking the path of the tornado that went through Fairdale and placed it at other locations such as Rochelle, DeKalb, Sycamore, and even the north side of Chicago. And what we're finding is startling. We're talking about thousands and thousands of people impacted rather than the 200 that were impacted that Thursday.
I know you were out following the tornado when it was happening, but what was your experience like out there?
Well, we had, as a severe weather enthusiast, I had been watching that day probably for several days ahead of that. And it had been a long, cold season, so I was ready for some thunderstorm activity. When we saw the potential, and I moved westbound on I-88 to Dixon, and luckily that storm developed to the south of Dixon, at least luckily from my perspective, and then moved northeast towards Rochelle, and I was able to capture that tornado. It was a very fast-moving storm, so hard to keep up with.
So we're looking at some of these photos now, and living in a region with such a large amount of open land, We sit in one of the most vulnerable parts of the country for tornadoes. What precautionary measures can we be taking to help ensure our safety?
I think the first thing to do is just become educated about the hazards. And that is come to the symposium tomorrow to learn about tornadoes and how they form. And then, of course, we'll also end with the precautionary measures. Such a thing as a weather radio, which is only about $30, will wake you up in the middle of the night if a tornado threat or other hazards are coming at you.
So how lucky were people on the path?
Well, I'd say that the northern Illinois area was relatively lucky. The tornado did pass through, unfortunately, a number of communities, in particular Fairdale, but it could have been much worse. If we shift the path just 10 miles to the northwest, it would have moved through Byron Nuclear Power Station. Or just a few miles to the southeast, it would have moved through Rochelle. Of course, it was visible from the dorms here. So just imagine shifting it just 10 or 15 miles to the southeast.
Would you mind explaining a term you'd like to use called expanding bullseye effect and how it kind of relates to this past tornado?
This is some research that we've done in the Department of Geography where we've tried to explain why we're having more and more disasters and why the magnitude of those disasters is greater. And so if you think of an archer's target, and the center of that target, the bullseye, is maybe the city of Chicago, over time that target is expanding from suburbia and exurbia. And if you think of the arrow as the tornado, that target getting larger and larger, and the tornadoes unfortunately still hitting those targets, we're seeing more and more people impacted. And of course this is occurring across the globe, just not here in northern Illinois.
Well, thank you again for joining us, Walker. And make sure to stop by the Montgomery Hall Auditorium tomorrow night and watch Walker Ashley's presentation. Don't miss it.
Time is running out for rescuers in Nepal.
And tension continues in Baltimore. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch. An overnight curfew will be in effect again tonight in Baltimore, where 3,000 police and National Guardsmen are in place to enforce it. There were no reports of disturbances in the early morning hours today before the curfew ended at 5 a.m. Baltimore was rocked by looting and widespread arson after the funeral for a black man who died in police custody.
Officials in Nepal now say more than 5,000 people have died, and another 10,000 plus have been injured in last week's devastating earthquake. Time is running out for rescuers. The United Nations says more than $21 million worth of international aid has arrived to Nepal. It says nearly twice that amount has been pledged.
Indonesia executed 8 drug smugglers by firing squad earlier today. 2 of the 8 were Australians, and Australia has recalled its ambassador in protest. 4 of the men put to death were Nigerians. 1 was a Brazilian and another was an Indonesian. A Filipino woman was spared.
Supreme Court justices heard arguments over Michigan's ban on same-sex marriage yesterday. Last March, a U.S. District Court judge ruled the ban unconstitutional, but an appeals court voted to uphold it. The Supreme Court is hearing that Michigan's case along with 3 other cases from Ohio, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And that's today's World Watch.
Bubble soccer could be the new craze in recreational sports. I'm Tudela for NTC Sports. What's the biggest complaint that people have about not liking soccer? Their lack of contact. But as NTC's Juwan Breskison shows us, there's a fun new way to bump into each other while playing soccer.
Bubble soccer made its way to DeKalb this weekend for Mother-Son Night. Participants were strapped into 14 to 20-pound bubbles as they collided into each other while playing soccer. While there are different games you can play with these battle balls, Mother-Son Night focused on the traditional game of soccer with a little twist to it.
We play games by quarters. Anything goes pretty much. We ask that if you do knock somebody over, that you let them have the opportunity to get back up.
Not only did the kids have fun, but mothers were able to run around and play bubble soccer as well.
Well, Rowan, what'd you think?
It was really good.
Yeah, it's exhausting. 4 minutes of pure exhaustion, but it's a lot of fun.
All you're doing is getting knocked over.
The first ever Mother-Son Night was coordinated by Amy Dahl, who was looking for a unique experience for mothers and sons to share.
We were trying to decide what we could do that would have moms and sons really interacting, kind of in a similar way that daddies and daughters did on date night. And I had seen a YouTube video of bubble soccer. I don't know where I ran across it, but I saw it and it looked like fun and it looked like something that moms and sons would be able to enjoy together. So that's why we did bubble soccer.
Bubble soccer brought out the best in everyone. In DeKalb for NTC News, I'm Juwan Breskeson.
Great stuff there by Juwan, but moving to a much more serious matter in Baltimore, it has made its way to the sports world, canceling games between the White Sox and Orioles in the last 2 days. Due to the riots and how close they've been taking place to Camden Yards, both games were postponed. They will be made up later in the season in a doubleheader. Today's game between the two teams will be played, but they will not allow fans in a very rare move just to ensure the safety of the players and let Baltimore police deal with the protests. The Orioles were scheduled to host another home series versus the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend, but the series has been moved to Tampa. Back to Chicago, where they played baseball in a little bit of an empty stadium. Cubs and Pirates faced off in Game 2 of their 3-game series last night. You can see the bleachers are still being renovated. Second inning now, Dexter Fowler slaps the ball through the hole, scoring Junior Lake and Addison Russell, putting the Cubs up 3-0 at that point. Third inning, Junior Lake slaps that ball down the left field line, scoring Starlin Castro easy in from second base. That would prove to be enough for pitcher Travis Wood as he fans the side of Neil Walker, Francisco Cervelli, and Sean Rodriguez in the 7th, just as easy as 1-2-3. Cubs win 6-2 for their 4th straight victory. More baseball played in Chicago as the NIU Huskies beat the USC Flames 8-4 last night. Freshman pitcher Kevin Jones pitched into the 7th inning, giving up 3 earned runs and on 6 hits. Senior Micah McCullough added the offense, going 3 for 4, scoring twice and driving in another. That's all we have for today. For everyone at the NTC Sports Team, I'm Brett Tudela. Goodbye.
Coming up, ghost hunting in Rockford. We'll go inside what some say is a haunted museum. Stay with us.
Homemade noodles. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
A spooky monument located in the heart of Rockford has been drawing in people from all around the country.
NTC reporter Amber Luckett will take you on a paranormal tour of the Tinker Cottage.
Many people fill the room anxiously waiting to take the paranormal tour at the Tinker Switch Cottage Museum.
The house was actually originally built in 1865, but we've been a museum since the 1940s, so we've actually been a museum for over 70 years now.
This house was built almost a decade ago by a man named Robert Tinker and was left to the city along with the family's belongings after everyone had died. In fact, 5 people are said to have died in the house, but their spirits continue to visit quite often. Alex Fox has been working at the museum for quite some time and says that flickering lights and the sound of creaking floors while being in the house is something that she knows all too well.
When you are in a separate building trying to arm the house itself, you'll have these notices that something's in the kitchen or in the dining room, and you've locked up and you've closed all the windows and you made sure there's nothing in there, and obviously something else decided to pop up.
The house was also featured on Ghost Hunters, where professionals confirm that there is in fact a strong presence in the house that cannot be explained. And even after being on the show almost 3 years ago, people as far as Canada still come to experience the paranormal activity of the museum.
We've had a huge increase in visitorship. These paranormal tours have sold out, and we've had to double and triple the amount of them that we were offering.
The museum also has a number of other tours throughout the year and is open to hosting private events. In Rockford, this is Amber Luckett, NTC News.
Well, if Ghost Hunter says there's a spirit in that house, then you know it's got to be true.
NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you all for watching this semester.
This is our last student broadcast until September. Thanks for being part of our family here at the NTC. We hope you'll be back with us in the fall.
Goodbye, everyone.